Hello and welcome to another edition of the Moving Iron Podcast. This podcast is proudly provided by Axon, helping dealers move more iron for almost 100 years. Find out more at axontire.com. Axon was started almost 100 years ago out of a passion for keeping agriculture moving. It's that same passion that drives them today. With a vision for a better experience for both farmer and dealer, they set out to create a better way to move more iron. When you partner with Axon, you get immediate access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. Axon carries all major brands and sizes of tires, wheels, and tracks. From custom colors and sizes to fully customized wheels, you can have the solution for virtually any problem today's farmer is trying to solve. To find more or become an Axon dealer, please visit axontire.com.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving iron.
Hello and welcome to the Moving Iron Podcast. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by Axon Tire, helping dealers move more iron for the past 100 years. For more information, go to axontire.com. And the reason that it is sponsored by Axon Tire, because the fellas are here with me. We're live from the Moving Iron Podcast. We're doing that, but Moving Iron Summit is where we're at right now. But guys, it's been a good time so far. I think we've had a pretty good group come through. I think we've got a lot of people that are interested in what's going on, but more importantly, this is Tales from the Road with Axon Tire, so
that's right.
All the roads met the same place this time, so we got to sit across from each other.
We are here at the same table. Yeah, and we're surviving. It's not hard to have a good time in Nashville.
No, it's you have to look long and hard to have a bad time. Right. You got to really try.
Good to be here. It feels like we've been kind of ramping up to this all season, all year long, and honestly, it's just great to be in front of people again.
Yeah,
it's been really good to have conversations in person. So.
Yeah. It's great to have. I get to have to talk to people, not on the phone or on Zoom or something like that. I actually get to shake their hand and get to know them a little bit better.
I know.
So
yeah.
Well, guys, go ahead.
With us this week, repeats, but we brought Clint Berardi. Say hey, Clint.
Hey, everybody.
And
Thanks for having us today.
We got Roy Diener, sales manager here with Axon too.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody from Nashville.
Right on.
And Clint hails from our corporate office in Des Moines, and ripe harvest time here right now. I mean,
it is.
That's the topic of discussion in the Midwest for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. The crazy thing about the markets right now is that they are absolutely 100% putting all their eggs in one basket, that everything from about middle of Iowa east is going to compensate for everything from the other half of Iowa west. Not going to produce. Yeah. So as you guys kind of travel around a little bit and you're talking to people about what you see happening out there, what are you hearing? What are you guys hearing about some yields as we kind of start slowly easing into this full-blown kind of high moisture corn season?
Some of the most positive conversations I've had regarding yields have been in Illinois, no doubt. Bumper crop expected in a lot of areas there. Other areas throughout Iowa, a bit spotty, like you said, east to west. But I think overall, Midwest, in our area, in the central and east, going east, guys are having pretty good. Had a lot of key rains at times, and have a positive outlook going into this harvest season. So.
Good.
Yeah, and I think even down in like Louisiana, they're hoping for record sugarcane harvest this year.
Yeah.
And North Carolina, they got some really good per bushel corn coming out. So it's record-setting year out there, but it's kind of the opposite direction, like you said, when you go west.
Right.
I think there's some really good positives, but all in all, I think it's going to be a good year.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're talking yields, we were sitting jabbing about this just a little bit ago with some customers. If it's not your seed, the only other thing you can do to affect your yield is your tire solution.
Sure, absolutely.
The number one thing we help dealers with is solving compaction issues. Exactly. when guys have tried to run the wrong tires on ground that's too wet or too dry, whatever. So, I mean, that's all you can do.
Right, exactly right. That education part of the tire impact on compaction, right? Everyone's sitting in this, listening to this. If you're not from the ag industry at all, and you're listening to this, you're someone that's not familiar with the piece of equipment. You're thinking, well, the last time I checked, a 9R tractor without any weights on it is 45,000 pounds, and then you weight it up and you do this and you do that. Next thing you know, man, you're sitting there looking at something that's got 55, 60,000 pounds, even more sometimes. And then you hook a big planter to the back of that, and now you're pushing 100,000 pounds, across the thing. Talk about what you guys are doing as you look at this compaction issue, and what are you talking to your customers about?
Well, and I think a lot of this, the weighting issue, like you mentioned, goes back a number of years, even back to old bias ply tires, that didn't flex like the radials that we have now. And it's kind of just been a mindset thing where guys have, thought they just have to have the weight to get the footprint on the ground. And in a lot of cases, like you said, a 9R tractor, you do need some extra ballasting, but it's not probably to the extent that you may need, especially like in a planting application or a light tillage. You've got these vertical till, some of these newer tillage equipment that isn't a deep ripping application or require a lot of heavy pulling. It's not necessary to completely weight down the tractor.
Right.
And then you can offset that now with these new technology tires, IF and VF. I'm sure we've talked about on almost every podcast now,
Right.
But they're doing their job to offset the need for that and put a lighter footprint down, and and helping you offset these drought conditions, or doing anything you can do to improve your bottom line when the conditions out there aren't as favorable.
Well, and there's new tread options. I mean, to your show, we brought the 550. I mean, we see a lot of people picking that up, right?
Yeah, for extended wear
Yeah.
reasons, for different hill applications, for the guys in the equipment dealer business that are maybe have a municipality customer that's doing a lot of roading with a mowing tractor.
Mm-hmm.
Those types of things that guys are really looking at other options to extend the life of their tires.
You know what I find interesting, and we've looked around. I think on the last episode I mentioned our own footprint study that we did.
Right.
We can't find anywhere anybody that can match compaction to a dollar value or yield percentage. It's all guesstimates.
Right.
There isn't actually a scientific study that says if you reduce your compaction by this percentage, this is the actual amount of yield you're going to gain or lose.
Right.
That's never been done.
Yeah.
We are working right now, we're very early on stages of working with Iowa State University, right in the heart of corn country.
Yeah.
We're working with them right now to actually study that and get a dollar value to what the impact is, depending on the type of soil compaction your current setup is creating. But it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we know it's true, we know it matters, but matching that to a dollar value is, again, unless the only thing you can do is affect the tire pressure and the type of tires you're running on the ground.
Yep.
That's it.
Footprint.
And I would just say, it's a big thing from the equipment dealer side. They understand the equipment and the weights and stuff. Give us a call at Axon. We'd be very happy to walk you through, if you know your weights, that get your air pressure set right, because that's a huge issue on the compaction side. It might be IF, VF tires, but are you where your air pressure needs to be to lessen the compaction?
Right. Yep.
And that's really a key thing, but that's what we're here for, is to help you guys out. It's not necessarily that you have to have it in your back pocket.
Right.
We've got one case study, I think it's on our website, we did with a local farmer where we took some yield maps before and after two unique tire setups. It was with Lowell Garrett, I think was one of the customers we tested this with, and we saw an impact. And so we're using a lot of that data to share it with the university to complete this study. But I want to say we factored, what was the estimated value we came up with in savings? Do you remember?
I think what he estimated was by correcting his air pressure and going to a lower air pressure tire, over 5,000 to 6,000 acres. I think it was in the 6 digits of saving of yield compaction.
Just by solving and changing up your tire pressure and the type of tire.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can make a if I go and get a brand new set of VF tires or something like that, by making a $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 investment, whatever that comes out to be, some of this data's come back showing that you could actually make $100,000 off this deal. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a big number.
It is.
Especially when you start looking at profitability of this stuff. I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
It does matter.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
And in years that you're talking, like this year, it's a little dry to the west of
Yeah.
Iowa.
Yeah.
Your compaction could be what takes you just so you can make it.
Right.
In a year like this.
Yeah.
I mean, your yield might not be that much, but you want to get as much as you possibly can.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
The compaction studies have shown that when compaction is higher, that blocks moisture from getting down further into the root structure of the plant. So there's no doubt that it has there's a factor to the compaction. Whether it's even in a wet year. We see guys trying to plant, in wet conditions, that's compaction is significantly higher. Then you have an emergence issue, And in this particular case, Lowell Garrett that we mentioned, I mean, on his wheel track rows, he was running a 120-foot planter and a 120-foot sprayer, and those wheel track rows, I mean, the stalks and the ears were 60% smaller than the rest of the field. So it can definitely add up. So. And we're always going to ask, too, if you've got a tractor that's multiple application, if it goes on a planter in the spring and a grain cart in the fall, those are completely different tire applications. One may have a lot more drawbar weight, one, different. We're going to ask those questions. If you call us and ask about a tire and wheel setup for a tractor, we're going to ask you, what is it going to be used for? We want to know those details so we can get you guys as the equipment dealer not only set up, but so your customer is completely happy with the results for whatever application he's using it for.
Yeah. So let's talk about the education side of it a little bit. How you're going to, if I'm working with a customer in western Nebraska where they have a lot sandier soils, or Wichita, Kansas, where I grew up at, where depending on which side of I-135 you're on, it's either sandier, loamy soils, or I'm going to make a pot out of the soil clay, right? So when you're having those conversations with people, how are you deciding? Like, how do I go about educating for that? Because those are very distinct, different things. And how are you having that conversation? And what's the education process look like?
Well, recently we've had a large increase in trainings at the dealer level, where we're going out to the dealerships. We're giving your people, the salesmen or whoever it might be, the basic tools for the stuff that we're going to ask for. We want, if it might be good pictures, it might be, stubble damage, and we want to give you guys the basic stuff that we're going to ask for anyways when you call us, and then we'll take that information and that will get us an answer or solution back to you that much quicker and that much better. For, like you said, whether it's the different soil types that you're dealing with, and then we can make recommendations based on that information that you're giving us on what we think the best solution will be.
Yeah.
And that could be the time of year. I mean, here we are in Nashville at a dealer event. I know, Clint, you've done a couple of these trainings, and I think the point of us coming in and resourcing a sales team at a dealership is not to overwhelm them with a 50-page manual of more crap they have to remember. Mm-hmm. That's the last thing we want, right? But what our goal is, just like investing in research, partnering with universities to study things, or showing up at the dealer level in person to help your team, is to give those teams signposts. Oh, if it's sandy soil, I know we've got to think a little differently about this. Let me call Axon. Mm-hmm. Oh, if they want to change from a single to a dual setup or whatever it's going to be, we want to come in and we'll literally leave the team with like a one-sheeter of how to measure tread depth, how to take good pictures, what questions to ask, so that they don't have to remember. The goal is that we come and take pressure off, right? Rather than have to know everything, we want to give you the signals for when to call us, right? And we found a ton of success. Anytime we leave these events, I mean, what's some of the feedback you've gotten when we leave these guys with a tread depth gauge or one of these manuals? I mean,
yeah, it's all been positive
they love
feedback. Absolutely, yeah. And even some events they've brought customers in, or we've worked customer facing events for them, and worked as their resource to their customers. And it's all been positive feedback. I mean, guys are, just general basic knowledge stuff that, we don't expect you guys to know. I think it largely falls on the equipment dealer salesman, hey, what's my tire pressure? Well, there's nothing, in the training process about tires for him, so
Right.
that's where we have found that we can step in, and this is our deal. I mean, we do it every day, and
Right.
we want to be that resource, as Jesse said, and, have those answers when you guys need to support the equipment dealer in doing their job.
Yeah. No, I think there's that's the one thing that people think they know, but they don't, right? And it kind of goes back into that truly understanding what your tire pressure needs to be. And even when it comes down to just, we talk about slip, I mean, tire pressure has a big deal with just slipping in the tractor. I mean, if you have a slipping issue, you don't have to go hang more weights on it. You might just need to let a little air out of your tire or put more air in it, whatever the situation might be.
Yeah.
But so those little things like that are all going to play a big factor into what you do as far as what tire you're going to buy and situation you're going to be in.
And
Go ahead, Roy.
sorry, and this year, just thinking about compaction on the planter side, it matters too, the harvester too, because you
Oh,
got
sure. Yeah.
a lot of these guys to minimize costs, they're doing a lot of no-till. And even if you are tilling, make sure your combines are set up right. And, during this current time, the inability to get to the machine that you possibly wanted, you might have to be dealing with a used machine or an older
Yep.
machine.
Yep.
Just make sure that machine's set up correctly
Yep.
so that you can get the best out of your yield the next year.
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, if we can come alongside at the dealer level and not train them to know everything, but train them to know what good questions to ask, I think that's a lot easier.
Right on.
Once you know what questions to ask, and you show your growers that you're selling to that you have direct access to a partner that's been doing this for 100 years,
Yeah.
quite frankly, I think that makes you look better.
Yeah. Oh, it
Makes your
does.
job
Yeah.
easier, right?
Yeah. And
So-
I need all the help I can get in making myself look better. So any help I can get there would be great.
That's very true now that I see you in person. Oh, that's funny. Well, here's my call to action.
Okay.
After this podcast. Number one, reach out to us. We would love to show up and train your guys. We're heading into, I'm still waiting for a slow time a year. It feels like we've been busy nonstop.
Winter
but-
months in the Midwest.
Yeah, for us in the winter, I mean, if you're slowing down and getting your teams together, we would love to be part of that event and bring resources, make that available to you. So please reach out to us, and we will commit to being there at those events and helping you train your events. So that's that. Also reach out to us. We'll give you our footprint study free. And then I'm also going to provide, we talked about air pressure now twice in a row. So I'm going to give out free digital tire pressure gauges to anybody that reaches out to sales@axontire.com. Say you heard it here on the Moving Iron Podcast, and we'll make it happen.
Right on.
So.
Good job. All right, fellas. Well, Clint, what's the best way to get hold of you?
You can contact me through the website. That's probably the best way to reach me, or through the office. I'm on the road a lot, so the phone number, or you can email me, clint.berardi@axontire.com, or message the website, and they will get you to the right person based on what territory you come out of. So
888-980-1208. 888-980-1208. You want to give your cell phone or no?
I can do it. Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
go for it.
My direct cell phone is 515-493-9105.
Clint's a great texter. You can even text him. We'll sell you tires over text.
Monday
That's
through
fine.
Friday, 7:30 to 5 only. No emergencies.
Mr. Diener, how do they get hold of you?
Through the office, I'm kind of around a bit, but through the office, the number that Jesse brought in, and you can reach me at my email is roy.diener, that's DIENER, @axontire.com, or you can call my cell, 210-849-6147. And like Clint said, the other guys that aren't on this podcast, we got road reps serving y'all, and feel free to reach out to the number and we'll get you in the right direction.
Inside guys always willing to help as well.
Yeah.
Give that phone number one more time, Jesse.
All right, you can find us online at Axon, AXON tire.com. All the info's on there. I mean, Casey, we got phone numbers and forms all over the place. You don't have to try very hard.
Yep.
Or you can call us at our main number at 888-980-1208. Again, email us at sales@axontire.com. We'll give you a free digital tire pressure gauge, and make sure you get our footprint study that we've referenced now twice. So we want to give you the resources to move more iron. Let's make it happen.
Right on. Well, absolutely take advantage of that stuff, folks. And if you want to reach out to me, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC. You can also go to MovingIronLLC.com, and you're going to find all the latest information having to do with Moving Iron Podcast and blogs and stuff like that. So with that, I'm Casey Seymour with Jesse, Clint, and Mr. Diener. Let's go some iron, folks.
Let's do it.
Thanks.
You want to have a meaningful competitive advantage to help sell more equipment. Whether you represent the sales, parts, or management department of an implement dealership, there's a surprising amount of complexity when it comes to tire, wheel, and track technology. Let Axon worry about that so you can get back to supporting your customers. Axon has leveraged years of experience to create a streamlined process that gives you a proven path to help today's grower and sell more equipment. The roots of their organization go back almost 100 years to the invention of the rubber tractor tire. Supporting agriculture is the number one driver of Axon, from product development through sales and service. To find more or become an Axon dealer, head over to axontire.com.
Moving higher in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here.